Hey guys, Nate here, and today I'm going to show you how to get the exotic submachine gun Riskrunner. To start off, you will need to head to Bench in the tower and pick this up right here, what you are looking at on screen. It's for Riskrunner. Originally, this exotic was a random drop, so you would pick it up during a Nightfall or a Crucible or Gambit or anything like that. It was a random reward. With the launch of Shadowkeep, it is now an actual little quest in itself. Very simple one, and for Riskrunner, it's actually a great exotic. The first step requires three sub-steps, three mini steps. Your first one is going to be to complete a lost sector in the EDZ. Second is going to complete a heroic public event anywhere. Third, you complete a Nightfall. For the first step, because it does mention the EDZ, launch into the EDZ, pick any lost sector you want. If you have a favorite, launch into it. Complete the lost sector, and that's going to complete the first sub-step of this quest. It's that simple. And remember, because it does say the EDZ, it does have to be on the EDZ for your heroic public event. It can be done anywhere. Your Nightfall can be done on any difficulty because it's not specific. It doesn't say heroic Nightfall, or it doesn't say, it has to be above 900 or anything like that. So keep that in mind. The only specific step here is that you have got to complete a lost sector on the EDZ. Now, whichever lost sector that is up to you, and it can be one that you favorite, it can be an easier one, doesn't matter, as long as it's a lost sector in the EDZ. Second, complete a heroic public event. This can be done anywhere, but as you can see right here, I did mine on the EDZ. If you are doing a public event and you see too many people there, and you do not want to do it because you think that maybe they are not going to know what to do, or they're just going to end it at the snap of a finger, that's okay. You can go to different places and find a place that is empty and do your public event there. And this way you don't have anyone just ending the public event at the snap of a finger, because I know that can be a bit of a annoyance if you're trying to get a heroic and people join you and it just ends at the snap of a finger. Once you get that done, you're going to do your Nightfall. For the Nightfall, because it is not specific, you can do the easiest difficulty. I ran the 750 Nightfall, and that worked for me. So that's something that if you want to do one a bit more challenging, that's up to you. If you want to get it done as quickly as possible, you can do the easiest Nightfall at the lowest level. And even if you are at the highest level, you'll steamroll through this at the snap of a finger. So the difficulty for your Nightfall does not count, as again, I did mine on the easiest difficulty and we got it done right away. Completing your lost sector, your heroic public event, and now your Nightfall will complete your pain and gain, joy and suffering quest step. Once you have done that, you will get your next step, which is pain and gain, risk, reward. For risk and reward, you're going to complete a mission on Earth. When you pull up Earth, the map, you will see it on your left hand side. This mission is a real neat treat, whether you're new to Destiny or you are a veteran player. This mission is an absolute treat. For this first step, you're going to kill 3 captains. The captains, as you can see on screen, will be labeled as such. They will have captain in their name, and they will spawn as you are playing, as this is going on, as this event's going on. They will spawn where you see them right here. So right here is one, and my third captain will also be in this exact spot. The time that they spawn, it could be every minute, maybe less. I did not actually time this, but I mean this step did not take me 20 minutes or 30 minutes. It was a very brief step. Now, once you have got your captains, your follow-up step is going to be to take out the spider tank that's in dead center in the middle. And once you do that, you will go on to your next step. And this next step I removed because it's only walking, and you got to continue to walk and until you get to your actual step that you need to go. So that whole chunk of walking, I removed it. With the walking bit of it, your next step is a jumping puzzle. It's not that difficult if you follow my path on screen. There are places where there is not a lot of light, and you will need to take a second look to make sure that where you are jumping is the right place. But again, it's nothing like 0 Hour, or it's nothing like Whisper of the Worm, or anything like that. It's not that level of difficulty. The only thing, there are enemies while you're doing this jumping section, and which shouldn't be that much of a problem if you have a scout rifle or something long range that will be able to counteract them shooting at you from a distance. The one thing to keep in mind is the darker places of this jumping section, which if you're not keeping an eye out or you're not being observant, it will mess you up because you will fall. Though, as was mentioned, it's not as difficult as 0 Hour or as Whisper or anything like that. This is a much more toned down jumping section of this quest step. Now, the whole goal is to go up, but the way you're going up it really throws you off because you go up on the right side, and from the right side you got to turn around and go up, and then once you do that you got to turn around and go to the left side. So it's one of those jumping sections that it's meant to throw you off because you're going to have that, where am I at, or where do I go, or did I do it right? It's like that. And as you're going through this jumping section, there is this really neat dialogue that goes on, as you can hear right now. And if you play since the beginning of Destiny, it's going to be a really heartwarming experience, a really heartwarming conversation that goes on. If you have not played since the beginning, it may not hit you as much because you may not know what they're really talking about or what their reasoning is. And if you don't know what they're talking about, you might want to look it up to get a better frame of reference about what's going on, about this conversation that the ghost is having with you or the ghost is telling you, and things like that. And again, keep in mind what will throw you off, it's that it's a little bit darker some spots. And if you want to wear an exotic that is going to help you with your jump, that will come in handy here, that will be useful. It's not recommended, but if you feel the need for it, you can absolutely go ahead and do that. Now, once you get to the top, you're going to scan an item, and you literally get the gun there. However, in order to, you can actually leave the quest if you want, because you already have the gun, but it's best to just continue this way it doesn't mess you up. Because if you just leave, maybe you don't get counted for completing this entire quest. So you can actually leave because you already have the gun, but it's best to continue and just go through the rest of the story mission as you normally would. This is sort of similar to the Galahorn quest in Destiny 1 and Rise of Iron, in that once you got your exotic weapon, your next step was to actually test it out. So this next step, that is all you're doing. This is part of the quest step. So once you scan the item and you get your gun and you get Riskrunner, the next step is literally to test out the gun on fallen enemies that are here. That's it. That's all it is. And one good thing is you do get the catalyst for the weapon as well. So you get the weapon, you get the exotic weapon, and you get the exotic catalyst for the weapon in this run while you were doing this quest, which is actually a great thing. And again, once you got your Riskrunner, all you're doing is jumping down into the section that's full of ads, and you are lighting them all up until you take out the big boss that shows up. And as you can see from the gameplay below, just how great Riskrunner really is. It just mows everything down in its path. Now, once you have done that and you have completed this quest step, you will need to return to the tower and speak with Banshee, though to be honest, not much happens there. He gives you something you can read, but again, it isn't much because you already have the gun. And so maybe it wasn't too necessary to return to the tower, but you do have to in order for you to quote-unquote fully complete this entire quest. Thank you guys so very much for watching. I'm Nate. I'll catch you guys on the next exotic guide.